your boy. It's your boy, Fake Nick Fury. And I'm here with Fat Broken Rambo, Scorched Earth, and Captain Jack, who is rejecting his new pseudo. But what we're going to do today is we're going to get into some good reviews. We want you guys to, chime in and tell us what you think. So our current picks of the week, we have Fury, which is playing on Netflix. Love on the Spectrum, also playing on Netflix. Alien Romulus, which is currently in theater, so there will be some spoiler alerts for this. For our classics you ought to know, we have some good ones. We have Article 99, which is playing on Amazon. We have Event Horizon, playing on Paramount Plus. And with Real Genius on AMC Plus and Apple TV, we also have The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, playing on Amazon and Apple TV. But before we get into that, let's get some Hollywood headlines.
Yeah, hey guys, Fat Broken Rambo here from Beards of War. So we're going to talk about a couple things this week. And first off, Tulsa King Season 2 trailer's out, man. So if you're Sylvester Stallone, Taylor Sheridan, you like all that stuff from Yellowstone, it's coming back, baby. Stallone looks really good, man. Once again, I'm a huge fan of the fact that he dived into television, and it's awesome to kind of see him as this gangster anti-hero. I mean, you can't help but root for the guy. But it looks fantastic. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out, man. All right, moving off of that, we're going to talk some Amazon news. So the role of Telia in Masters of the Universe live action has been awarded. Tila? I don't watch that crap, man. I don't know.
She was your cartoon version of Princess Leia in the Golden Bikini.
But where's She-Ra? I remember She-Ra.
Yeah, She-Ra can't hold a candle to Tila, bro. It's all about Tila.
So Tila's apparently shit hot. So, hey, we're doing Camila Menendez is set to take the role on in the live action series between Amazon and MGM. So that's pretty exciting. It looks like maybe around June of 2026 it's going to premiere. So fingers crossed. It's not like the Netflix series.
Do we have any other casting? I mean, I'm excited.
Yeah, she's playing Did you already? I think you said it.
No, I missed it. Nicholas,
opposite of Nicholas.
Galitzine?
What is that? Galitzine? I don't know.
Sorry,
I don't know how I'm feeling about it.
All right. So anyway, they're making a Master of the Universe, and Tila's going to be in it. Cool. That's all I need to know anyway. Next.
That was enough for me to give a thumbs down. But
yeah.
Halle Berry said she would come back and do Catwoman if she could direct. Maybe. I don't know. Moving on to more news that nobody cares about. The Acolyte has been canceled. Congratulations, Lucasfilm. You have fucked up again. And finally, something near and dear to my heart, Pacific Rim, man. I'm not talking about that terrible-ass sequel. No offense, John Boyega. I love you, man. That movie was garbage. But the original with Charlie Hunnam, Ron Perlman, and Idris Elba, man, I think to me that movie's phenomenal. So I was pretty excited to hear that they're doing a prequel television series about the origins of the kaiju and how the robotics program came online. Still in super early development. I think they're just kind of like hashing out or outlining the storyline. So not really more to follow on that, but it'll be coming down the pipe. So I'm pretty pumped for that because I'm a Pacific Rim fan. Uprising, that movie never happened. I
actually thought it was a pretty good movie. Like I said, the first one was really good. The second one, sometimes you kind of lose it a little bit or really grab you with the first one. But really quick, just to go back to Halle Berry reprising her woman as Catwoman.
Oh, so you care? Sorry, my bad.
I'm just gonna say I think we should call it Cougar, and I'd watch. She's 58, and I'd watch it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Yes, and it was 20 years ago that Catwoman came out. Yes, Halle, I would watch you in Catwoman in 2024, 2025, whenever you're ready to do it. I am there. Okay,
not
cool.
Me. What was that thing she was in with Mark
Union.
Wahlberg?
Oh, The Union.
It was on Netflix.
That should be a sign of probably what I've loved Halle Berry shows, movies in the past, but a sign of what has been coming for a while. The Union was, just the trailer alone. I mean, look, think of it this way. She dressed up as Storm for the movie, right? Like she can't even get out of her Storm outfit from X-Men. Nothing against you, Halle, but Halle Berry. Don't do it again.
The movie was just bad. It's almost like it was supposed to be a comedy, but it wasn't labeled as a comedy. Like you couldn't take it seriously at all. So I'm like, is this an action film or is it a comedy? Because it was so unbelievable. Like the action. I mean, not even one of the movies we're talking about, but just as a side note, The Union just wasn't a good flick for me.
So it was a mix of Ted and X-Men.
Whoa.
Mix of Ted and X-Men because Mark Wahlberg was good in it. Halle Berry,
he wasn't good in this.
Yeah, he was Ted. That's what he was. He was just Ted.
I know we discussed this before, but I'm going to bring it up because it seems like we're at a good juncture for it. But like tell me that you don't think the quality in Netflix movies has gone downhill significantly. Like their CGI is just like cheap and gross, man. Like I just don't.
When did it ever go uphill? You got to go uphill to go
funny.
down.
Like I'm not saying the movie is good because I haven't finished it yet, but I watched Six Underground the other day. Started watching that, and like the CGI and the special effects look really solid. And that was 2019. And then I watched the Union trailer a couple of times, and I mean a couple of times because I had to decide whether or not I was going to invest my 2 hours in it. I'm looking at you, Rebel Moon, because you're not getting 5.5 hours out of me. It just looked like poorly made. Like it would be a straight to DVD $5 bin at Walmart kind of movie,
right? Like a sci-fi original, right?
Yeah,
So here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. First of all, 600 Ground starring Marvel Genius. I mean, Marvel Jesus, Ryan Reynolds, and Michael Bay had a hand in that. So Michael Bay is not going to attach himself to anything cheesy. It's going to be grandiose and over the top. So 600 Ground was one of those like phenomenal COVID time period movies for Netflix. Did really well, and it was really a lot of fun to watch. Which one? What's that?
No, when did that one come out again?
2019.
2019.
I want to say that's probably like Union probably should have been 600 Ground.
Yeah.
But the quality is significantly different though. Like, and especially if you look at like Apple's production, like I know there's not a lot on Apple that people are like super excited about. I mean, potentially, but even their quality and like their film and how it just looks like a high-end production. Netflix just looks like trash that's put out on Lifetime.
Yeah, so it's when you start pumping stuff out, you start to lose the quality a little bit.
And so it's intentional, right? Because it's YouTube is started to push into the limits of all these streamers and all of the traditional film studios. And so now they're having to compete with weekly content that's being churned out for free.
That's true.
And that's what they're doing. So they're spreading thin. They're doing a huge amount of products, and the quality's going down.
Yeah, but that's what's crazy though, because if you look at like Amazon or like, and I go back to Apple, their quality, like they're staying the course, and
but it's not their main product.
That's very true as well. That's a solid point.
They don't have to make any money. Amazon doesn't have to make any money off of Prime, and Apple doesn't have to make any money off of Apple TV Plus. They are just out there pushing it out because that's not the product. The product is the ecosystem. Amazon, the money is in the Prime. It's in the subscriptions, and it's in all of that. It's not in the streaming, which is why they can bring us really good streaming.
Yeah.
Excellent perspective. And on that note, I got nothing else. So hopefully that was enough news to satisfy you for the week. I highly doubt it because the news probably just occurred 28 seconds ago on Instagram. So there's already something else that's new and more important than any of the shit that we talked about.
Old news.
But hey, man, we're going to roll into our results from our poll from last week. So Scorched, take it away, baby.
Nice. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So we put that out there and you guys have spoken. So we're going to go ahead and call this. So it was originally who's the best old man action hero? We got three choices, right? We had Michael Keaton. We had Liam Neeson with the throat chop, right? Genius. And Harrison Ford. 80% for Harrison Ford being the best one. 20%. So the remainder of it is Michael Keaton. So yeah, everybody liked him as Batman, right? I get it, but it's hard to beat out Harrison Ford. It just is. Yeah. I got love for Michael Keaton, but and even Liam Neeson. But you guys it's a whole nother ball game when you're talking about Harrison Ford, and that's my thoughts on it. And it seems like you guys thought the same. So there we are.
It is kind of hard to compete with Harrison Ford, who has literally been Indiana Jones and Han Solo when you have been Batman and Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice just doesn't really give me old man badass.
I mean, kind of, right? Kind of.
I'm saying he's made a sequel.
Crazy. Badass of the afterlife. I mean, I am definitely excited to see Beetlejuice. Don't get me wrong, but
too.
You know, when you think about badasses, you don't think about Beetlejuice.
Oh, damn it. You said it 3 times. I was trying to stop you before the third. Now we're screwed.
What are you doing, crazy son of a bitch?
No, I want it. Beetlejuice.
I think you just sent them back.
Yeah. I don't know how that works. All right, man. Let's get into these picks of the week. Let's go. All right, Grant, what you got? Fury, man. Tell me about this.
Picks of the week for Fury. All right, so it takes place at the end of World War II, right around 1944. D-Day's already happened. The Allied forces are trying to push into Germany, and this is all about a tank crew, right? So this is Brad Pitt, John Bernthal before he was a Punisher, Michael Pena. I forget the young kid's name, the new driver that shows up, and then Shia LaBeouf as the gunner, right? So Michael Pena is the driver. Anyways. I saw this movie back in 2018. I was on an exercise, We got some free time, so me and my buddy Juan, we went out and checked it out, like a 10 o'clock showing. Shout out to my brother Juan, love you, brother. Anyways, it was awesome, man. Like whoever they got as a technical advisor, just knew their stuff as far as like enlisted camaraderie and the shit talking that we do, and it shows, man. It shines so perfectly in this movie. I absolutely loved it. Like, you could definitely tell that me and Juan were vets when we went and saw it because we were laughing at some of the most probably inappropriate shit in the movie because this is who we are, man. Like it's ingrained in us after a certain amount of time in the military. You just become part of that machine. And it's just hilarious in certain scenes. The movie itself is very dark, right? So it's all about them. They're pushing with infantry units through urban areas, and they come to an impasse where they know they have to defend against a German armada, for lack of a better term, that's coming their way, right? They have like a battalion plus. Some of the most hardened soldiers, the Germans are pushing back as they're retreating, and these guys are tasked to hold the lines. If they don't hold the lines, then the logistics break down and the Allied push ceases to exist, right? I would say that if you're a veteran, you absolutely should watch this movie. It is, to me, it is the chef's kiss of World War II films of the modern era. And I put this up against, Band of Brothers, Saving Private Ryan. This movie does leaps and bounds beyond Saving Private Ryan, in my opinion. But it's phenomenal, right? It's a dark movie. It's got, for those of us that have served, some things transgress generational lines, and the attitudes and the bravado seen in the movie, I would argue, still reflect the military to this day, at least before I retired. I can't speak to it now. And shout out to the technical crew, because if you guys are like an ultra nerd when it comes to historic purposes or historic details in movies, in Saving Private Ryan and further back in Kelly's Heroes with Clint Eastwood in, I think, 1973, they took a T-34 Soviet tank chassis and they built a Tiger I shell and put it on top. In this movie, they actually found one of the few working Tigers in the world and had it. It was privately owned, and the guy was like, "Hey, you can use it, you just can't drive it." So they, no kidding, drove this thing out to the middle of the fucking field, dropped this Tiger off, and they used it in scenes in the movie. Now, if you're looking at the scene when it's tank on tank, I think it's 3 Shermans against the 1 Tiger. The Tiger tears into pieces, and that's pretty accurate armament-wise from back in the day. Any movement when this tank itself is stationary, I know that's an oxymoron, but like the turret moves or anything like that, that is actually the live tank doing it. Anytime the actual treads itself are moving the vehicle, that's all CGI. But man, to go to that length for a small detail in a scene that probably lasts 5 minutes in the movie, my hat is off to that crew that actually went the extra mile to show that movie and that horrific realism of that war in a respectful manner. The movie shines. It's amazing. It will touch your heart a little bit. There's, some darkness might come up. It's a great flick though, man. You can't pass it up. And I would challenge you to go watch it.
Oh man, it sounds good, man. I'll be honest, I've heard of it, have not had the chance to see it yet. But it definitely does sound like something that I would get into. Like I said, I love Saving Private Ryan, love those war movies because it kind of shows you a little bit about the human side of being a soldier. And then the part where you have to literally transition into a soldier, right? So you kind of live your spectrum of life in that short amount of time because you don't know how much time you actually have. So it's like to see these guys joke around, you can fight with each other, and then you're doing whatever you can to save each other's life that very next second. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like what being a soldier is really all about, because at the end of the day, you're in this together. Whatever background you came from, for this moment in time, we're brothers, we're family. Yeah. And then once you get out of here, that's the mission, right? The mission is to get home. You get home, you always have that to come back to. But yeah, man, I heard it's a good movie, and I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah. Can't recommend it enough.
We've talked about it a few times, I think, at work. I haven't seen it either, but I definitely have to check it out. It's been a little while. I forgot about it. I wanted to see it, and then I got wrapped into other stuff as we kind of went along with the channel. But it seems like an outstanding flick and kind of true to form with regards to, the era, the time, how the guys were and interacted. Never was an Army guy, but I get the meaning and definitely understand camaraderie and service. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
Cool.
Eric, what you got, baby?
Hey, man, listen. I struggled with this pick because I had other things in the queues that I wanted to talk about, but I got hooked, like I do with most of these like reality documentaries. You kind of get hooked on one episode, right? So, Love on the Spectrum on Netflix. Listen to me, people. There is Love on the Spectrum, and there's Love on the Spectrum Australia. Each of them have 2 seasons. So I literally started season 2 of Love on the Spectrum Australia, and immediately I was like, oh my god, this. It was number one. It's basically like people who are on the spectrum of autism and how they want to find love in life, which most of us do. So there's a lot of these dating shows like 90 Day Fiance, Grant, like you were talking about, Love After Lockup or whatever.
Hell yeah, Love After Lockup.
MILF Manor. I mean, I've seen them all, right? This one, I swear to you, you are literally invested in these people's dating life. Like you like, oh man, they're going out to meet this girl, and they meet people who are also on the spectrum. So the idea is kind of like to get them to date, and some of them they've never dated in their lives, like 26, 27. They're very honest, and which makes it so funny. Like Michael is one of the funniest freaking characters on the show, and it's him, right? But he's very like matter of factly, right? So he goes out on a date with one girl, and he's like, and she wears glasses, she's on the spectrum, whatever. It's like, oh, can you take your glasses off? He's like, oh, okay. Can you put them back on? He's like, yeah, you look better with your glasses on. I'm like, oh, dude, like you can't say that, but he did, and it's like they just say what comes out, but they're also very, like they find love to be very important. They say it often throughout the show. I want to find someone that I can literally, spend the rest of my life with, treat her like a queen. I want to feel that warmness of love. And like, it's like, wow, man, these people really want someone to share a life with, but because of their disabilities, it makes it difficult because autism is different and different, there's different levels to it. And you can see it like when they meet people, it's like, oh, wow, okay, you can kind of tell, where they're on the spectrum. So it's a lot of people like probably just existing. You just feel like a little quirky, a little, off, but they actually have a disability they're dealing with. And like, they will get upset if someone's like, oh, well, you don't look like you're autistic. They're like, well, what does that look like? So it's like, wow, man. So, they also deal with some discrimination and stuff like that. But man, I'm telling you, like, you are rooting for every last one of them to find someone that's like, oh man, she better not break his heart, man. I'll find her. And, you're in it, dude. I'm like, come on, man. Come on, Ronan. Like, and Ronan and Katie, like they're adorable couples, man. And you get one couple that actually gets married. But it literally led me to watch the whole season 1 and 2, like in one day. We watched the entire 2 seasons, and then I went to watch the original Love on the Spectrum. And yeah, you're definitely, it's definitely one of those feel good shows, and it also gives you some insight onto like dating on autism spectrum. It gives you a new respect for that disability and bringing it out. And I think the director's name is Cian O'Cleary or something like that. It's been nominated for Emmys. Really, really good show. One of those, like, I would have never looked it up myself. We just happened to come across it. But man, I'm telling you, I'm totally invested. I'm going to finish it like probably by tomorrow. Finish watching season 2 of the original. But it's a really good show. If you want something to, have a good time and watch and get invested, Love on the Spectrum.
I'm going to add my cue, man.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely sounds interesting. So yeah, that kind of, I guess that leads over to me. So mine was a really recent pick, Alien Romulus. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not going to do it like when our previous reviews of an entire movie, but I'll try to capture as much as I can without spoiling it too much. So this essentially, excuse me, is supposed to take place, and Grant, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think 20 years or so after the first one and about 36, 37 years prior to the second one.
Correct.
Right? All right, man, I got it. All right. So I will say decent movie. It wasn't a 10 for me, but it essentially is focused around a group of younger, I won't call them kids, but young adults, right? That are space colonists. They're kind of trapped on this planet and they're being forced to work in the mines like their parents. And they're trying to figure a way to get off the planet and go to this other planet where they can have kind of freer life, if you call it that. So one of them has the idea of, hey, there's a spaceship that's kind of derelict floating around our orbit, but it's really not that. It's more of a space station. And he thinks there's some pods in there that they can just go into cryostasis. It takes like 9 years to get to this one planet. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to do it. And they'll go up there, steal those, and this, take off, into the sunset in the middle of outer space where it doesn't set. Bottom line is there's an android in this one. And that guy, it's, what's his name? David Johnson with like 2 S's and an N, something like that. Good actor. and he's kind of opposite of Kaylee Spaney. Great actress. I would say, in my opinion, I thought that duo was a great duo. They did a really good job. She almost kind of, even though I know this wasn't intended, but she almost kind of reminded me of a younger Ripley. Hey, who knows? Because you got, universes, MCU kind of a thing. Maybe in the future
TVA is involved.
they spin this as that's Ripley's daughter, because you remember Ripley going into part 2, they kind of left it out. Grant mentioned that before. Who knows? I don't know, man. I'm just overthinking it, but they could do that because she kind of reminded me a little bit of a younger Ripley. But essentially, they get on there, they go looking for that, and somehow, some way, they they thaw out some face huggers, and not just some. I mean, like a multitude. You add up all of the alien movies in the past and multiply that by, like, I don't know, 5 or 10, and there's that many of those things running around at breakneck speed. They're all over the place. I think they did a pretty decent job with that, as well as the new aliens. Look a little different. They modeled them just a little different, but all in all, it was good. And ending was, well, it kind of seemed like it was ending like 2 or 3 times, but the final ending, it was decent. And there's some head nods and homage to previous Alien movies. I won't spoil that for you guys, but it was good. It was a fun kind of a movie, and I think they did a decent job. Definitely worth checking out, in my humble opinion. But yeah, it's up to you guys. Let us know what you think. So far, I think they're doing really, really well. Had some crazy numbers opening weekend, and I think
biggest of the
IMDb
franchise,
has them.
I think.
Yeah, it's insane, right? IMDb has them at around 7.5, 8 out of 10 stars right now.
That's rare
And,
for him to be.
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
so
I checked it out this weekend as well. I only have one bit of advice. The human bite is around 162 psi. What I'm going to need people to start doing is biting down on those face huggers before they enter your mouth. Like, just like lock
that's
your jaws
instant
up,
death.
bro. Like, nobody's biting these face huggers and just letting them and just inseminate you through the mouth. 162 psi. I'll put it to use. That's all I got.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm planning on watching it soon, though.
Yeah.
I'm very excited though, because like I'm a Fede Alvarez fan. Like what he did with the Evil Dead reboot, and then he went on and did Don't Breathe. Wasn't a huge fan of Don't Breathe 2, but hey, whatever. Don't Breathe 1 is fantastic though. If you haven't checked it out, and it's a pretty good thriller. There are some disturbing shit in that movie, but hey man, that's what you're in for. With this guy in his direction. But he actually was asked if he would do another Alien movie, and his response was he would like to see an Alien versus Predator. I'm not sure if that's in conjunction with the actual baseline storyline from the comic books and the printed novels and stuff from back in the 90s. I would love to see that storyline. I'm not talking about AVP. That movie in Antarctica was fucking trash. And Requiem, I wiped my ass with that movie. But he was talking about partnering up with Dan Trachtenberg, the guy who directed Prey, and he's doing the Prey sequel, and then he's doing a standalone other Predator movie. And to go off on a tangent for a quick second, whatever they're doing with Predator, it's working, man. In my opinion, I liked Prey. I didn't love Prey. I liked it. Just slip the Predator in different time periods, man. Just do that. Put his ass in, feudal Japan, show me some samurai duking it out with the Predator, put him as World War II and the OSS are going against him. All about it, man. Just keep slipping him in, do that kind of stuff. If you're going to do an AVP, do it fucking right, man. Follow the comics, because the comic book storyline is phenomenal. So if him and Dan Trachtenberg were to get together, and I really hope they do, I hope Disney and Fox are listening, or not Fox, but Disney and Hulu are listening. Make that shit a reality, man, because that movie would be kick-ass with those two guys behind the helm, in my opinion.
dude, have him fight Logan. That's in the comics.
MCU. Predator and MCU. It'll work.
Predator also fought Batman. So, I mean...
Ryan Reynolds.
Looking they keep trying to make Batman a hero with powers. It doesn't work.
All right, man. Hey, we got a special. Hey, Cap Jack. You got one for us today. Welcome.
Shug.
All right.
What's up, Shug?
So, today I'm going to be bringing you, it's called Bring Them Home. So this is a really great documentary that hits on some important pieces, but it's basically about veterans who serve in the U.S. Armed Forces, and they are not from the United States, They sign up for the forces. They're supposed to get their citizenship, and then for some reason it falls through. There's actually a lot of these folks that are impacted in this way. And so this film called Bring Them Home, I'll have a link in the description for you to go check it out if you want to. It highlights this. And there's just this whole big struggle around people who honorably served our country, and then they get discharged. And after they get discharged, they get deported. And it's really crazy because if you sign up, you should be able to get it done. And I mean, in a perfect world, there is a pathway to make this work. But clearly, just like what we've seen in every other section of the VA and of, all these other areas, there are failures in the systems. And so, this is highlighting those failures that happen and the veterans who are being impacted and kicked out and deported, like literally being deported out of the United States after fighting in the armed forces and putting themselves at risk. So really good doc. Check it out. Every week I'm bringing you a new doc, trying to keep it fresh and keep it interesting and related to our topic, which is of course veterans and media. So yeah, that's what it's called. Bring Them Home. They've won a ton of awards. Really great film, really important. And you'll be able to find the link in the description for where you can watch it, because it's not available broadly. You have to either rent it or get it directly from the website. So
yeah, bro, you are definitely intellectual of this group. Like I mean, listen, I'll be dead honest with you, bro. Like you kind of opened our eyes to a lot of those, like even with the last one. So I mean, I appreciate that, man. That's definitely something worth checking out, because you do kind of wonder, like, all right, man, what was the deal? What was the agreement for me to go out there and kind of literally put my life on the line? I mean, I'm pretty sure something became attached to something, right? So, make good on your promise. If it's not something you can promise or deliver, then you don't promise that. I'm a fan of, mean what you say and say what you mean, so if it's the case, these guys are just getting, kind of screwed over after serving, that's just wrong on a lot of different levels. But I definitely something I would check out. And I'm gonna check that link out when we're done here.
Yep.
Appreciate that,
and
bro.
I mean, you think about all the issues that we have just as veterans who have benefits, and we're just trying to get them just to give us our benefits, and then your major benefit was getting citizenship, and now you can't even get that. And oh, by the way, because you're not in the United States, now you're not getting any help from the VA.
Right.
So
yeah.
you
just labor.
It's a huge failure point. And we've got to stop recruiting outside of the United States if we aren't going to treat them like citizens and give them the citizenship that we I don't want to be political, but just like, it's a problem and we got to work on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a good movie, man. A great pick. When did that come out? Like 2022? Sorry.
The website doesn't say when it came out. Gotcha. It's been out for... It's only 30 minutes. It's a documentary, so it's not documented the same way that the other ones in Hollywood are. But I'm sure we can find it on IMDb. I'll take a look and I'll give you an update if we find it.
Cool.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
All right, man. All right, so with that, we're going to get into the classics, the you ought to knows. If you haven't seen it, get to see it. We're going to start with you. What you got, Fat Broken Rambo?
All right, man. This movie's near and dear to my heart, and I know it is for everybody else that touches the Veterans Administration. All right, so this movie is Article 99. It came out in 1992. It's available to stream on Amazon. I highly recommend it. If you're a VA and you have any degree of frustration with that,
process,
with that agency, watch this movie, man. It's a fantastic film, and I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to say it straight into the point, man. Fuck the VA, but thank you to every provider that works there. Because those providers, I'm talking about the staff, I'm not talking about the bureaucrats. The bureaucrats can go fuck themselves 6 ways from Sunday. I don't give a shit. And that demonetizes us. I'm sorry. I'll pay you guys out the 35 cents I owe each of you. But the providers that actually are there taking care of us veterans, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Because what you guys do is life-saving.
Real talk.
Yeah, man. Keeping it real. All right. But Article 99. So Ray Liotta and Kiefer Sutherland star as doctors inside of the VA. And then you have you've got a slew of character actors from that time frame too. You'll recognize a fair amount of them. David Keith's in it, and everybody loves that motherfucker because he's great in everything he is. So he plays like kind of like the facility lawyer of sorts. Like he is the barracks lawyer of the VA, and he's in a wheelchair, Vietnam veteran. It's all about Vietnam vets. Anyways, so what ends up happening is like Kiefer Sutherland is this brand new doctor that comes on board, and Ray Liotta is supposed to be kind of like his mentor. And Ray Liotta is an absolute wild man. He'll do procedures to make sure vets get taken care of. He doesn't care about the bureaucracy or the paperwork or anything else like that. He is just out there to take care of vets. He's doing God's work, man. And Kiefer Sutherland is kind of like this straight-laced, like he's coming there to do his time and move on to some bigger, better paying gig. Doesn't really see the value in it at first. And then as the movie progresses, he kind of comes onto that side. It's really good because it's a touching story. This one vet comes in, he's going to have a heart transplant, and he goes down right in the waiting room. And the argument of the movie is whether or not they are authorized to give him the heart transplant over a paperwork issue, if I remember correctly. I've seen the movie plenty of times, but at the end of the day, what ends up happening is the vets actually take the place hostage. And they lock the facility down so that nobody can come in. They kick all the bureaucrats out, and the doctors go to work, and they save this guy's life. And then it's the standoff with the cops and how everything kind of gets straightened out at the end of the movie. You'll be mad, and then at the end of the movie, it's a feel-good movie, right? Like you come away feeling like, hey, these providers are really doing like solid work by veterans. Thank you for what you guys do. It's a touching movie, man. The VA's got its problems. It absolutely does, just like any other form of government agency. But you know what? Do fucking better. Do fucking better, because we showed the fuck up. Now it's your turn. Highly recommend it. Go check it out. It's PG-13. It's got some harsh language in it here and there, but it's a phenomenal movie. It'll make you feel good about yourself at the end of the day, and that's important in life.
Gotcha, man.
Yeah, definitely sounds awesome.
Yeah, like I said, man, I appreciate a full disclosure. Fat Programmer has loaned me this movie. I have yet to watch it because Love on the Spectrum has taken over my life, but I am going to get to it. It's going to happen, dude. I swear to you. I'm not watching anything else.
Sacrifice, man.
Right, I got to make a sacrifice. I'm going to do it, man, for us, for the vets. All right. So with that, man, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I'm going to take you back to 1997 Event Horizon.
Oh, God.
This movie is set in outer space, right? You got Lawrence Fishburne, Sam Neill, Richard T. Jones. You already got like two dudes in space who've probably never been to space. But what I'm saying is, we're like one of those movies where you're kind of closer to the future than you are to the past, right? So the movie came out in 1997. The setting is 2047, which is only 23 years away. So right in about another 20 years, we should have space stations going out to other galaxies, salvaging wrecks and all this stuff. So they have this Event Horizon ship that's disappeared after 7 years, kind of mirroring something that's currently going on, talking to you. And of course, once you answer a distress call from space, bad things happen. Like I'm telling you right now, stop answering the distress calls in outer space. Leave it alone. It happened. It's gone. It's done. So they go check out, of course, because it's a movie, and they find out basically the ship is haunted, and there's a lot of demonic stuff going on in there. And Sam Neill, who is Dr. Ware, basically like taken over by the ship, right? So the ship is kind of taken over. It's like playing with everyone's minds and making them see things that aren't there, and it literally tries to destroy the entire crew. It makes it so you don't leave. And one of the best parts of the movie is when like Lawrence Fishburne plays Captain Miller's had enough. He's like, I'm going to fire TAC missiles at the Event Horizon. Fuck this ship, right? So I'm like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. But of course, it doesn't quite happen that way. It goes on to these grisly murders that Ware is kind of helping facilitate, and the entire crew gets like wiped out one by one, man. And you get a few survivors, but you're not really sure that they survive at the end of the movie. So it's like one of those it's a horror sci-fi movie, which is like, it's compelling, man, and it gets you into like, okay, well, what's gonna happen next? How are they gonna survive this? How do you get how do you fix this stuff that's gone wrong? And excellent character played by Sam Neill, that doctor. Yeah. He just gets dark, man, and he's like, you can just see him being taken over, being consumed by the ship, and Lawrence Fishburne's character Captain Miller trying to save his crew and his history and how it plays in. And man, it was just a good movie. I watched it even today. If it comes on, I'm in it. So it's currently playing on Paramount Plus. If you want to check it out, it's worth the watch. Like I said, one of those good movies that will keep you engaged throughout. Good cast, good solid cast. Yeah, for a 1997 movie, you know, like now it's still pretty relevant. Like I said, with things going on now, so I don't know when we get to this spaceship. I don't know what we might find out there, but those rescue missions, man, beware. I've not known of one that's gone right. I don't know if anybody else has any spaceship rescue missions that they've seen that's turned out pretty good, but maybe
The Martian.
on Mars. The Martian, there you go. I think he was out. He was going
That's the only one.
right? This one. All right, 1 for 9. All right, not bad.
Yeah, I know,
That's a
dude.
solid
I
movie.
remember that classic movie. I got one question, you know, for this one because I liked it for sure. And this is probably more for the audience writ large. You know, if you had to choose, would you rather deal with being stuck on a haunted space station or a haunted house on a planet? I know what I would choose, and it ain't no space station. So,
Well, because correct me if
that's a
I'm
good
wrong,
movie.
like in the movie, the Event Horizon is trying to fold space so they can open a portal to travel faster. And instead of opening the portal on the other end, they open a portal to hell.
Hell, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and then, dude, but Weir, Dr. Weir, his Sam Neill's fucking final appearance in that movie is just the stuff of like pure nightmare fuel, man.
Yeah, like
It
Hellraiser.
is terrifying as shit to see that dude in the end of the movie. It's great, man. And the rumors still persist that there's a director's cut. It's like 4 hours long with some kind of weird, fucked up shit. For like the hellscape scenes where they actually see the security footage, and it was ruined in like a Slovakian salt mine, I think, is what I was told on when I researched it, because like we'll never see the director's cut. But that movie is terrifying, man. It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, who also did Mortal Kombat, the original.
Yeah, we're not
Mortal
going to
Kombat
talk about
movie.
the Resident Evil movies.
No,
Fuck you for
just
running
Mortal
Resident Evil.
Kombat and Event Horizon. That's it. We'll give you
That's
a pass
it.
on everything else.
That's it.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys. So I got one for you. As you guys know, I typically dig back into the 80s. And one of my all-time favorites from one of my favorite actors, Real Genius from 1985. So that starred Val Kilmer. It actually had, for you skaters out there, because I used to skate way back in the day, Stacy Peralta. Pal Peralta, Dogtown Boys, all that good stuff. He was in there. A lot of William Atherton, you know, Ed Lauder. There's a bunch of good actors and actresses in there that you guys have probably seen in a lot of 80s, 90s movies. But essentially what it was, and it was a comedy with Val Kilmer in in the heyday of his comedic acting career, because he was pretty funny when he was a lot younger. But it essentially is, he was a prodigy that went off to, you know, college, to a university, a science prodigy, young. I think he was like the youngest at that time when he went. And in comes a new one who's the youngest of all time at this point, which was like 15. So he's the big kid on campus, the brain on campus / clown of the campus. And the professor who was his main
Mentor,
you know, influence mentor, thank you, also has some kind of a side deal with the US government to make this super powerful laser to put on an aircraft or a spaceship so that they could target people from space, essentially like a Star Wars thing, right? And melt people with this high powered laser, but he could never get it done. Val Kilmer he was just always missing that one piece. And comes the new kid. Professor sticks him with Val Kilmer. They start working on it in the lab and they get it. And, you know, they're stoked about their science. They tell the professor. And while those guys are out celebrating, he comes in and steals the laser and the refractor and takes it off to the government. And they're like, what? You're going to use this for weapons? That's not what we were doing this for science. But the comedy in this is just sheer awesomeness. I mean, from putting one of the guys in the campus that's like essentially the lapdog of the professor, but he's never going to go anywhere, like taking his laundry to the cleaners and just being abused. They put him to sleep in his room, take one of his teeth out, put a microphone in his tooth and put it back in. Then they take his car and put it in his room, and they have his car pulsating, and they start talking to him like they're God. They're like, Kent, it's God here. And when he wakes up and he thinks it's God talking to him. and they just go into some pretty explicit stuff. But it's a funny movie. If you guys get the opportunity to check this out, you'll even see another familiar face. I'll just tell you guys character name in there, Laszlo, who lives in the closet, but he's awesome, and you'll remember him from other movies. But really great flick, man.
Gotta love the 80s, man. You did not have to make any sense at all. Yep, you're just gonna take a tooth out, put it back in. You're not even gonna notice that this tooth was removed from your face and reinserted. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta love the 80s. Just it wasn't any real science, right? It's like, okay, man, we're gonna make this machine. We're gonna shrink kids. We're gonna come up with DeLorean time machines, and that was it.
Well, at least they put him under. You know, kind of like if you did get a tooth extracted.
That's true. Yeah. At least they went that far.
Okay.
But yeah.
Cool, man. All right, man. Cap Jack, what you got for us, dude?
All right, so I'm bringing in some Wes Anderson. So digging back to 2004, it's not that old, but it's still, I consider it a classic. It's Wes Anderson. It's Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. So Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou came out in 2004, and I was on the ship when I was in the Navy back in the day when this came out. And it was a diesel frigate that I was on, and that was what the movie was on. They were on a diesel frigate steaming around the world, and I just loved it, man. It's such a cool call out. I know this is, hashtag unpopular opinion, right? I like Wes Anderson's films, and he does good stuff. So it's pretty fun. If you want to check it out, though, listen to the soundtrack. If you like David Bowie, there's a really awesome soundtrack on there that is David Bowie covers on a guitar in Portuguese. Super cool, super fun. Like it almost feels like a documentary, and it's designed to be that way because it's kind of a similar thing to the Jacques Cousteau stuff that came out in the 80s and the 90s. So definitely will feel like it's a classic film, even if it may not be classic period 80s, 90s, 70s, all that.
Okay. So what are they doing? Are they actually like looking for sea life or?
No. There's an adventure, of course.
Oh, adventure. It's a quest.
There's an adventure. Yeah,
Under the sea.
So what ends up happening, right? So this is Bill Murray. So I should break out some of the crew here, right? So Bill Murray, Owen Wilson, Cate Blanchett, Angelica Houston, Willem Dafoe, Jeff Goldblum.
Oh,
just a whole bunch of fun characters, right? This crew is super fun. So you've got the Belafonte. The Belafonte is the name of the ship, right? And the crew is going out and they're looking for the shark that ate Bill Murray's best friend. So
that's all I needed. That sold me on the movie, right?
That's it right there, right?
Sharknado.
I'm not gonna lie, it sounds pretty good.
They take some explosives and they take some Glocks and they go out and look for a freaking shark.
Yes.
Because the shark
sounds good.
Had a homing beacon. It had a PLB in it, right? Because it ate the guy. So they've got the shark's location. They just have to go get it, right? So yeah, it's super fun. They break into Jeff Goldblum's at sea laboratory, and there's just tons of fun music in it, lots of fun energy. It's Wes Anderson, so stylistically, like the way that it looks is really kind of interesting if you're into that thing. But, Bill Murray, right? Like, who doesn't love Bill Murray? It's just, it's really like, for me, it's peak Bill Murray. So,
that's awesome, dude. That sounds
those
really
are selling
cool.
points.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, Amazon and Apple TV. It's not streaming anywhere, but it is. You can go buy it or you can rent it on Amazon or Apple TV and even, I think, on YouTube as well. So, go check it out. It's fun. You know who I didn't mention? I didn't mention Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson is a really fun character in this. Like, you just your heart goes out to him. So I'm not going to root for you. Go for it. Yeah. He's part of the crew. Like, there's basically like a core crew of people who rotate through all Wes Anderson's films and the Criterion Collection and all that stuff. Like, they have a lot of fun together. They're all the art school kids, and they're just they make good movies.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
I think you sold me on it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. They're looking for a shark. You get down there, and there's some really cool underwater visuals, and you know, this is in '04. So when they did some of the scuba diving stuff, you know, it's not maybe as crazy as it would be today, but it was still, you know, really interesting visuals, and it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Nice.
I'll have to check that one out.
Well,
those are the picks of the week.
I think that takes us to the end, boys.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, man, another good review. Like I said, man, you guys have some opinions on the movies that we've selected. Let us know in the comments if you have another good movie that you feel might you want the Beards of the Wars guys check out. Put it in the comments. Let us know. Remember to subscribe. You know, we're doing this for fun, but we're also doing it for you guys. So definitely, we love to know your input. Certain movies that maybe you want to see, maybe something a sequel you want to check out. Be sure to put that in the comments as well. So again, it's your boy Thick Nick Fury from Beard of War. Until next time.
Fat Broken Rambo out here.
Scorched Earth out, guys.
All right, it's Captain Jack. I'm out. Take care.